WWE is screwing over Jey Uso, and I am about to have my head explode because I don't understand why they continuously do this to Jey Uso. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what they're doing, why I think they're doing it, and why I think it's a major mistake. Jey Uso is a guy that has consistently been one of the most over guys, not on Monday Night Raw, not in WWE, in the entire wrestling business. But I'm afraid that there needs to be an admission about Jey Uso that needs to be made. And I think WWE continuously bashes Jey Uso fans over the head with this reality. Jey Uso is slated to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, Saturday night's main event, January 25th, NBC. It's a week prior to the Royal Rumble. Now, WWE, they did a promo segment on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, right? If y'all caught my Raw results video, which you can check on the main channel, highly recommend it. I talked about this. I actually went on a pretty good rant. So we had a segment where Gunther came out there and he did a promo, and he was talking about that everyone's focused on being the best in the world or the face of the company, yet no one is looking at the top prize as the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Jey Uso came out, and I go, this is interesting. Okay, so Jey Uso comes out, and Jey Uso issues the challenge. Him versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. Gunther brought up his own history, that he slayed Jey Uso in early 2024 when Jey Uso tried to win the Intercontinental Championship from him. An Intercontinental Championship in which Gunther held for, 666 days or something like that? And he couldn't do it. Now, Jey Uso did win that championship later that year from Braun Breaker, but I digress. We're going to get Jey Uso versus Gunther for the world title. And I was thinking to myself, why do they do this? Because you know what's going to happen, right? Gunther, this is what happened. Okay, this is what I don't understand. You have a situation in which Gunther, who is a babyface, by the way, he has turned babyface. Everyone who doesn't think he is a babyface, I don't know what you're looking at, but I digress. So you have Gunther as a babyface. He needs a challenger for Saturday night's main event. He's most likely not going to defend the world title at the Royal Rumble. That's fine. And he needs an opponent. And he needs a top-tier opponent. And they have to have a main event of Saturday night's main event. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens is a ladder match at the Royal Rumble. Okay? So they're not doing that. You need a big match. It's, oh, by the way, in a week and a half. Okay? They have to build up Saturday night's main event in addition to the Royal Rumble. So Gunther needs a top-tier opponent, a super-duper over opponent who some people could say has a realistic shot at winning the title. That's why Jey Uso is in the spot. Jey Uso is a guy that has now shifted into this Dolph Ziggler route where despite how fact that he's over like Rover, despite the fact that he's one of the best characters that they have on WWE television, he's on that cusp of making it as a main eventer, breaking through and becoming a world champion, but he hasn't done so yet, and he just bounces off that ceiling. So Gunther needs an opponent. He needs an over guy to have a headlining type match. We use Jey in that role. We'll beat Jey. Jey will be fine, and we'll roll on. But the reality of the situation is Jey's a babyface. How many times do you, as a Jey Uso fan, go into a big-time match against a big-time opponent with big-time stakes and continuously think, oh, well, it's going to be Jey's turn? Like, does anyone realistically think that Jey Uso is going to win this title? So if you don't think he's going to win the title, what does this do to benefit Jey? I get what it benefits Gunther, right? But what does it benefit Jey? And don't come at me with, well, Jey's going to get the rub. Jey doesn't need the rub. Jey's more over than Gunther in the eyes of the fans. Okay? He's just not as over as Gunther in the eyes of Triple H. So, because if he was, he would be world champion by now. So, if it was a situation in which Jey has never been in this spot before and he's on the rise, but he needs a little bit more star power. He needs a little bit of a bigger name to rub off on him to give him more credibility. Then, okay, fine, I get the spot. But that's not the situation here. Like, Jey's more over than Gunther. He's been in this spot multiple times, and he's always looked and booked to lose, right? Outside of him actually winning the IC title from Braun Breaker and then shortly dropping it back, he's fallen short every time. A year ago, Backlash France, he challenged Damian Priest for the world title. He fell short in that match. So, as I said on my Raw review, I don't understand. And I did see, and I forgive the person who actually said this, but I forget their name. There was someone that commented on my Raw review, and they said that Jey Uso is now in the Dolph Ziggler route, where now, at least in Dolph Ziggler's case, Nick Nemeth's spot, he actually won the world championship one time, but he was actually used quite similar to Jey Uso, where he was over with the fan base. He could cut a heck of a promo. He could work his tail off in the ring. He had everything going for him other than Vince McMahon didn't want to book him as a top tier guy. He would put him in spots to be that, but he would always fall short, right? Outside of a world title reign here and there. I believe he had two. But Dolph Ziggler will always be remembered as a guy that underachieved in WWE. And I think it's a situation in which it was not his fault. I think it was just Vince McMahon's fault, right? He's thriving very well in TNA, but I digress. So I don't know. I don't know as a Jey Uso fan what we're doing anymore from a character standpoint with the booking. Like, so he's going to go in there and lose to Gunther. Then what? Is he going to go back to being a tag team with Jimmy? Like, we're on this cusp now where it's like he should be in a main event spot, and he almost feels like too big to be in the Intercontinental title spot. So what do you do with him, right? And he can't be Intercontinental champion because you want to build up Braun Breaker, who I don't disagree with. Braun Breaker should be IC champion right now. I wish Jey would have had a longer run as champion. I wish he had as long of a run as like a Sami Zayn did, but we didn't get that. But I don't disagree with Braun Breaker beating Jey for the title. I thought that was very well done. I just wish he would have had a longer reign, that's all. Braun's the right guy. He's coming up on everything like that. But I really, really question what is the end goal? What is the... And maybe we'll get an answer, right? Like, I'm trying to find the positive. I really am. I'm just trying to think, 2 steps ahead, and I don't see an out other than they needed someone for Gunther to beat. Jey Uso's a name. He's going to be over like Rover, but like it's not putting more heat on Gunther. Gunther is still a top tier star. He probably should be working with guys that, like, I don't know. You could do all. Why don't you not just do Sheamus? Like, bring Sheamus in there. He's challenging for the IC title. No one expects him to win the title. He can't ever win that championship. Put Sheamus in that spot. Like, if you just need someone to beat, I don't know. It drives me nuts.